Good evening everyone, today we're going to be talking about the NGS headline because there is a ton of stuff to cover because version 2 is coming out in a week. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to go over is of course the creative spaces because they really want to push this home that, this is kind of the main emphasis of this update. However, don't worry, there is actual content, but we'll get to that later in the video. So the moment the version 2 update rolls in on June 7th, we will all gain access to creative spaces. Regardless if you're free to play or a premium member, everyone has access to creative spaces. However, something to keep note of is we need this currency called Genesis points, and we can earn Genesis points by playing the game, by completing your weeklies, by completing your dailies, by doing some limited time quests, as well as your mission pass. There are many ways to obtain Genesis points. However, the main thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention is, yes, we are going to have something similar to a guild tree. However, it's going to be an individual tree in your creative spaces, which you're supposed to check in every single day or every so often in order to get free Genesis points. So you're going to need to use these Genesis points in order to purchase as well as place furniture in your creative spaces. However, if you are like me and you're not very creative and you just don't really care that much about creative spaces, you still want to stock up as much Genesis points as you can. The reason for this is because you can actually purchase level 4 capsules with your Genesis points. Yes, you can purchase Dreadkeeper 4s, you can purchase Gigas Capsule 4s, you can purchase a lot of level 4 capsules using your Genesis points as well as Aegis Integras as well as other useful materials. So Genesis points are still going to be useful even if you don't care about creative spaces. Now for those who do care about creative spaces, you will be able to get extra furniture through the SG scratch and through the AC scratch in order to get even more specified themes for your creative spaces. So for example, the moment the creative space kicks in, there's going to be a Sonic DLC pack for $10 where you can get a bunch of different Sonic furniture so that you can place it in your creative spaces and make a Sonic themed personal quarters. However, on top of that, they also have another package. I forgot the price. I think it's like $5 or $6, and that is a resort themed one, so you can put like a swimming pool, there are like beach lounge chairs and all of this. I think there's like 5 pieces of furniture in that pack, so you're also able to purchase that pack in order to make your personal quarters fit a specific theme. However, you can also purchase a bunch of different type of furnitures with SG, so they're allowing all types of players to enjoy the creative spaces regardless if you're fully free to play or if you're a mega whale. However, now we need to talk about actual content. So first things first, we are getting a new story on June 7th. The moment the update kicks in, we will get chapter 6 part 1. So this is when everyone realizes that they were all test subjects and they're kind of discussing and going like, okay, the Starless are probably going to attack us soon. What should we do? And we need to find out how to defend ourselves. So you're going to be sent off to all these different places and you got to explore the world with Aina. I don't know where Manon went, so she's just suddenly out of the cutscenes. So we'll probably find out what happened to her. Now on top of this, we are getting new skills as well. There are a few interesting ones. I believe a fighter has a pretty interesting looking skill. However, the majority of them is literally just do more damage. It's like a follow-up attack when you do a counter, or when you do a sidestep, or when you do a charged attack, you get like more damage for your next attack. It's fairly simple, nothing too game breaking at the moment. However, it didn't show the katana, so I don't really know what the katana users get, but I'm pretty sure they'll post something up on the website in the next couple of days. When they do, we'll do a deep dive onto all of the new skills. For now, we only just saw like 10 seconds of like all these different weapons doing different things, but the majority of all the descriptions were just like, yeah, increased potency, more damage, stuff like that. So it doesn't seem too crazy, seems pretty mediocre in my opinion. The next thing is going to be the holograms. Yes, we can place holograms around in the open field and combat zones and wherever you want. However, they did go more in depth about this, and it's not unlimited. You can't just like fill the entire town with like spray paint or anything. There is a cost limit, so after you spray paint like 3 or 4 different pictures, the next spray that you do will delete one of your previous ones. So there is a limit per player, so you can't just totally destroy Aleo Town, for example, with a bunch of random items. The next big change is photo mode. So you finally can adjust the depth of field as well as the field of view and all of that stuff in order to get nice looking pictures. I know you could have done this before with G-Shade or Reshade. However, there was a whole drama about that, so I don't know where that program went, but now you can do it legitimately through the game itself, so that's really nice. However, it doesn't end there. We can actually make photo rooms in town now, so that's a big deal for me. I like recording in town, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult when people are running around all over the place and they just mess up your one perfect shot and you got to redo the segment or something. So I personally really like that they're bringing in photo rooms for town, so that if I'm recording something about the marketplace or upgrading and stuff that requires interaction with NPCs, I can do it in peace and silence without any interruptions. And on top of that, they've also adjusted the clothing spread on the waist area in the salon. This is a big deal. I didn't think they would implement it this quickly, but for those who are wondering what this is, it's sometimes when you wear a skirt, your skirt kind of poofs out, especially if you make your character with thicker thighs, and it doesn't look very nice. So now you can actually adjust the clothing without messing around with your character's bodily proportions, and it's going to be much nicer. We are able to see it in action on the live stream. It looks very good, very innovative. You literally just drag the slider all the way to the left and poof, no more bulkiness, very nice. Now another big change is you can adjust skill points whenever you want now. So reallocating skill points is now free. You can do it whenever you want, and this is a massive change. It's really nice. Now the next thing they've improved is the player shop itself. The item search function can now search items even if you misspell the name. So let's say that a certain item's name is really difficult, like Tenzan Yagama or whatever. You can just write Tenzan and it will autofill when you click search. It'll find all the different items with Tenzan in the name, or any of the items that sound similar to Tenzan, and you'll be able to see all of the different items immediately. This is a huge change. This is a very welcome change. So now players don't need to go online to find the exact name, copy paste it, and yeah, it just makes life a lot easier. The next big quality of life change is starting from version 2 on June 7th. When we get the new update, the patch is going to delete all of the old PSO2 content. You're only going to need to download NGS itself. This means that the total file size of NGS is going to become much smaller. Instead of the 100 and so gigabytes that we need right now, it's going to slim down to like 30 or 40 gigabytes, maybe 50, I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to be significantly smaller. However, if you still want to access the base game, you can still access it, but you just need to download the free DLC where it's going to say base game or PSO2. You download the PSO2 DLC and boom, you're back to 100 and so gigs, but you'll be able to access the base game now. Now for the observant few of you guys, you're probably going, Caro, you said there's new content, but you literally just said there's new story and that was it. Everything else was quality of life changes. Hold your horses, hold your horses. On June 14th, so not on the patch date on June 7th, we have to wait a week. So on June 14th is when we get the actual big content drop other than the story. So the story will kick in on June 7th. However, that's really the only new piece of content that we're getting starting from June 7th, I guess, other than the new skills, but the new skills are kind of just like sprinkling on top, in my opinion. Now for the meat and potatoes and the stuff that I care about. So on June 14th, we get Starless enemies. Yes, they're going to be spawning in Aleo, only in Aleo, because Aleo is going to have new high rank sectors. So as we all know, when we go to combat sectors, there's rank 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So we're going to get a new high rank sector in all of the Aleo combat zones. And in these new high rank sectors, there's going to be new mechanics, there's going to be new mobs, and there's going to be, of course, the Starless enemies, which are all going to be level 70. So remember, Sega did say that we are getting a level 75 cap increase, but this also does not kick in until June 14th. So 1 week after the big update, all right? So once that kicks in, we get the level cap increase, we get the new high rank sectors in Aleo with the new Starless mobs, and on top of that, we are also getting 9-star rarity weapons. Yes, we are finally getting 9-star rarity weapons. Now on top of this, we will also be able to enhance our weapons and armors to plus 70. Once we get it to plus 70, we will unlock an additional augment slot. So currently we're limited to 5 per piece of armor as well as weapon, but once you get it to plus 70, it will become 6, which means we are going to become significantly stronger because of that extra augment slot. So this has me extremely excited because I can't wait to farm for all of this stuff and get stronger. Now, something to keep note about the new 9-star rarity weapons is that, one, they're going to drop in different locations. So let's say that you are farming the katana specifically. You are most likely going to need to farm a Mount Magnus, as the katana will probably not drop in Vanford Laboratory as well as Rezel Forest. Now, the reason for this is because the new 9-star rarity weapons have 3 different weapon potentials. One for the melee weapons, one for the range weapons, as well as one for the technique weapons. However, the nice thing is you can multi-weapon between all of these weapons. This has happened before with the Relic series. However, the Relic series was a very low drop rate and a very complicated and annoying weapon to get because you were at the mercy of RNG. However, with these new 9-star rarity weapons, I'm fairly sure they're going to be a little bit more common, a little bit more easier to farm for, and it's going to be a lot easier to mix and match all the different weapon potentials. Now, if you're planning to multi-weapon, the main weapon's weapon potential is going to be the one that is going to be active, not the secondary one, alright? So let's say the katana gives me 20% crit rate, for example. If I were to multi that with my twin machine guns or something, then my twin machine guns will also gain that 20% crit rate because it is not the main weapon. The katana was the main weapon. So you're able to mix and match, and the multi-weapon system hopefully is going to make a lot more sense now because, well, it never really made much sense before when all the weapons had the same weapon potential. So this is a really nice and welcome change. They did this before. I really don't understand why it took them this long, but there we go. That's a nice little addition. Now, on top of this, in order to move around Alio even faster, because, you know, we hate running, they have added a bunch of sky lifters. So sky lifters are basically like booster pads. You're literally just going to run into it. They shoot you straight into the air, and you're going to be able to glide across great distances extremely quickly. They're adding this to all exploration zones as well as combat zones in Alio. So hopefully Mount Magnus isn't going to be a pain in the butt to traverse anymore with a bunch of these sky lifters added. Now, on top of all of this, since our level cap has increased to level 75, we do have new Gigantix. The Gigantix are all going to be boosted to level 79. There is new Starless Gigantix as well, and there are also new Recon Gigantix that spawn around Alio. Now, Recon Gigantix are also going to be level 79 as well. Now, on top of all of this, they're adding a new ore called the Nin ore. It's a new ore that drops photon chunks 2A and 2B, so if you need that, you can obtain it there. They're also adding higher difficulties for the triggers as well as urgent quests. So for Darkfall's Aegis, there's going to be a new difficulty. I don't know what they're going to call it, rank 2, I guess. So there's going to be that where all the mobs are level 75. However, something interesting they mentioned in the live stream is in Alio, the urgent quests, all of them are actually being removed except for Darkfall's Aegis as well as Darkfall's Interception. So I'm kind of confused on what new urgent quests we're going to be getting to replace the 3 that are being taken out. So mining base is being removed, thank God. The dragon is being removed, as well as the dolls is also being removed. So there's only going to be Dark Falls. Yeah, that's literally it. We only have Dark Falls as a UQ in Alio now. So maybe we're getting a new urgent quest. I don't know. I feel like if we did get a new urgent quest, they would have said something on the live stream. But who knows? You know, I'm in for surprises. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, on top of all this, they do have a new AC support scratch kicking in also on June 14. It will contain the new XD capsules, which is the upgrade for all of our Addy capsules. So if you thought Addy capsules were strong, well, think again, because these XD capsules are coming in and they're going to be a lot stronger. So that's pretty cool, I guess. The next thing we need to talk about is the collaborations, because, you know, I made a whole video about speculation on what the collaborations is. Sega totally debated me in the first part of the live stream. I was like, are you serious? When they said the new collaboration is with Sonic, it's Sonic's birthday again. And I was like, are you serious? Really? You made a whole announcement just to give us Sonic? But, you know, of course, they were just debating me. And then after the Sonic collaboration, we are getting another collaboration with Ghost in the Shell. So Ghost in the Shell, you know, that's cool, I guess. You know, cyberpunkish. So for those who want to cosplay as Lucy from Cyberpunk, you can do that. For those who just like Ghost in the Shell in general, you can cosplay as those characters as well. And of course, if you've been playing Honkai Star Rail and you're a big fan of Kafka, you can also use a lot of the cosmetic items from this scratch to cosplay as Kafka. So, you know, it's an okay scratch. It's not really what I was hoping for. I was hoping for something more recent like Bleach or Demon Slayer. I've been preaching Demon Slayer since like day 1, but I don't know, maybe it'll never happen, who knows. But nevertheless, Ghost in the Shell is pretty cool, and the Sonic collaboration will have a new urgent quest, which is really cool. I think Skull's Nightshade is going to have a blast playing it because she's a huge Sonic fan. For those players who really love Sonic, I think the new urgent quest is going to be your cup of tea, as you have to dash around the map, collect all of these coins, Chaos Emeralds and stuff like that while beating up enemies. So it does look pretty cool. You do get to fight a Gigantix, I believe it's like a Frostal or something, which kind of reminds me of Sonic Frontiers when you fight like the big golem guy. It kind of reminds me of that boss fight, which looks pretty cool, and you know, maybe it is a reference to that, which is pretty nice. Now on top of all of this, they are introducing a new Duel Quest mode. Well, it's not really a new one, it's just phase 2, where we actually fight a Starless boss instead of all the other bosses that we fought before, and apparently this one's going to be a lot harder. And on top of that, it is a phase 2 boss, and all of our current Defi capsules say they only work in phase 1, so I don't know, man. If they want us to re-gear again for this one, that's kind of annoying and a pain in the butt, but nevertheless, we're gonna have to wait and see. Maybe it's a translation error, I don't know. Now, there are some honorable mentions that I want to talk about with the operation report. So there was a question asking, when will we get new high difficulty content like Duel Quest, but for group play? And the devs did answer saying that in August we will get a new high difficulty content similar to Duel Quest, but for groups. Now on top of that, they also added a very important piece of information saying that this new mode will not require specific capsules, because they got a lot of feedback from people saying, what the hell is these Defi capsules? I don't want to re-augment my stuff with other capsules that only work for this specific game mode. It doesn't make sense. And so they took this to heart and they were like, alright, you know, for this group gameplay mode that comes out in August, they're not going to force us to re-augment our gear for that specific game mode, which is very nice. Now the next question is, will they ever add a DPS meter into the game in the future? And the devs actually replied yes, they will be adding in a DPS meter that you can see for your own damage only though. But nevertheless, that is still very, very useful information, because you know, that way for min-maxers it's going to be a lot easier to optimize your playstyle in order to see how much damage you're doing and optimize your rotations and just fine-tune everything a lot easier, as you literally have a numerical breakdown of your damage, which is going to be really, really nice. However, I do understand not everyone is the biggest fan of DPS meters, so they are going to make it an optional thing that you can toggle on or off through the options. So by default, I'm assuming it's going to be off, but for those who really want the nitty-gritty, you can turn it on, and you're only going to be able to see your damage anyway, so you can't go around flaming other people and being like, oh my god, you're doing less damage than me, what the hell, blah blah blah. But within your group of friends, you can still compare your EPs and yeah, just look at your damage meters and be like, haha, I got huge PP damage, Kex D Lamau. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel, it really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!